Hey board gamers, I'm back from both BGG Con and PAX with a little bit of a haul. But first off, let's talk about the two events because next year they're happening at the same time and you might want to be able to know what the difference is to help you pick. PAX is held in Philadelphia where it is snowy and rainy at that time of year, next end of November, the weekend before American Thanksgiving. And BGG Con is held in Dallas, which is also rainy and cold, just not snow. So if you're from, Canada like me, the getting away from the snow could be nice, but I also have to fly there. Whereas Philly, we can do a bit of a 9-hour drive, which is also a lot. The cons themselves, the BGG Con is held in downtown Dallas. They've moved to a new location that can fit a lot more people. And I really love the new venue. The venue is carpeted throughout, so the noise is really low. The spaces for open gaming are plentiful, and they're in different spots, so it's not always one big giant hall. There are plenty of signage around to help post up on Twitter or on BGG where you're going to be to help people find you. And they have really useful signs that you can plop up on the table and you can just walk around and join people in. It's a very open and welcoming environment, I found. However, it is in Texas, which is also not necessarily the most open environment. Philadelphia, same thing, still a relatively red state and city, but within the con itself is pretty well protected. PAX actually has security at their event. However, it's pretty lackluster. There is like one canine unit that's out there sniffing, and when you go through the metal detectors, your bag just goes right along the side, and whatever's in there is coming on in. So take that with a grain of salt. PAX is in one big giant hall. They have a really good expo hall that BGG Con does not have, and there is a lot more for me to pick up at PAX than there was at BGG Con. However, the gaming area at PAX is not the greatest. The first look area that both PAX and BGG have are both pretty much the same. They're so close in timing that they both have the same things that have come fresh from Essen. A couple of them I have here that we'll go through. So if you're more into wanting to sit down in a quiet space and game all weekend, BGG Con is for you. If you're more so wanting to participate in talks and walking around the venue, going to lines and tournaments and stuff, then PAX is more for you. For me, I'm leaning more towards BGG Con for next year, although I'm not too sure if I'll do either because I just booked a trip to the UK Games Expo. So we'll see how that holds up. So let's talk about what I picked up from there. Of course, at every con that has an expo hall, you'll find yourself with a cool stuff ink bag taking home with yourself. They've changed their bag this year. It's a different lighter blue. I can't remember if the logo changed or not. So on the last day, they had a really awesome sale. So I picked up Era as a Christmas present. I got this for $40 US. So that's about 52 Canadian. This game was at 92 Canadian at one point and then down to 75. So that was a steal. Now, one thing that BGG Con has that you don't get at PAX is, of course, the Board Game Geek store. So I was able to pick up a bunch of promos for my friends, also for good stocking stuffers and gifts this holiday season. So there's the Paladins promos for my friends. Now, what they have at PAX that they don't have at BGG Con is varying different charity causes. So I picked up this sweater that helps support children with cancer. And their recovery and their research. So from Child's Play, so play games feel better. I think I made an accident and bought a little too small for my friend. He'll find out later. Also from Cool Stuff Inc. 5211. This has been published by Next Move Games. They're actually one of my favorite publishers. This is a really cool, a trick-taking game. Where you're going to be going through all of these different decks of cards and you're going to want to try and make the trick win but not bust. So if there's too many of a certain color or there's too many chameleons, it busts and you don't score that card. When you do score, you get what you have. From Geek Attitude Games, published in North America by Luma Games, brought to us is Brussels, the card game. This is really cool how the mechanics work with the tableau of cards that you have. You're going to have multi-purpose cards, which I always love, and you're going to be using them to buy and sell different pieces of art throughout the game. It's really short, really sweet. From Renegade Games is Clip Cut Parks. This one is super cool. It's in that kind of roll and write type of series of things. You're going to roll. It's going to tell you how many cuts that you need to make on this lovely sheet. You're going to cut, and then you're going to place it in your park. This literally comes with 4 pairs of scissors. Although it was hard to open the box, I could have used the scissors. But give that one a check out if you're really into the roll and write scene. Also on the roll and write scene is the On Tour board game. This box is way bigger than I expected it would be. But it is designed so that if you want to buy the additional player boards, you can buy the additional player boards and stick them in the same box. This is another roll and write where you're trying to create one giant long road across the US. So you're going to flip up one of these 3 locations and you're going to roll a die and you have to put that number in one of those locations. And then by the end of the game, try and make this biggest, longest tour you possibly can. Whee! Also from Next Move Games, the new Azul. I've played this a couple times. I really like it. It's much more akin to the first Azul than the second one, with a different type of pattern and strategy. I definitely find this one to be a lot less take that when it comes to the leftover tiles. So this one is probably number 2 for me, with the original Azul still being number 1 because it has a special place in my heart because Portugal is beautiful. I also participated in the BGG Secret Santa, and I got Wayfinders from Panasaurus Games, which was also available at both PAX and BGG Con, and I'm excited to try this one out. I don't know anything about it. Fresh from Essen via imported games at BGG Con, which this was not available at PAX. There isn't a lot of import stuff available at PAX. BGG Con does have a partnership with Fun Again Games, I think is what they are, that brings in a lot of stuff. And so I picked up Aquatica from them. This is a really cool, awesome card-driven game where you are trying to appease the different parts of sunken ships and different sea-bound treasures to essentially exploit them and bring them back to your people and make your people better so that you can be declared the king of the new Atlanteans. And the last game that I picked up, also an import from Essen, is the Magnificent. This one is by far my favorite game this year, and I know I don't pick favorites very well. I want to play this game over and over and over again. You are essentially a traveling circus. You have a dice rolling mechanic akin to Coimbra, where the dice you're going to use it for the color as well as for the power of the pips to take your actions across the board. The really awesome part of this is how the scoring works. So each round, after you've performed, you're going to be ranked as how much you've performed. And then in that order, you're going to pick from a bunch of cards on the side that have a new scoring essentially case for you, and then you're going to pick from the now 5 cards that you have that you can score and score one of them. And then by the end of the game, you get to score all of those cards. So those are the games I picked up. I also got a new Kickstarter that came in today on the Underground, which was also available for play in the First Look area at PAX, but not in the First Look area at BGG Con. But I'm really excited because it's got some really pretty artwork. This is a Berlin style Berlin train, and there's also the London Tube. So hopefully I can get that to the table soon, and you'll be able to check out on my feed all the different pictures of it, because you know I love to take my pictures. Anyways, that's what I have for you today. Keep track of everything on my Instagram here. Subscribe, like the photos. Tell me what you think of these different games in the comments below. Make sure you watch out for more photos and stuff of these games and a little bit more tidbits. Hopefully more content coming soon in the new year when things kind of quiet down. But until then, keep on playing games with James. That sounded weird.